Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a wealthy and prosperous king named Oba Adebayo. He had a beautiful daughter of marriageable age named Olabisi. Olabisi was admired by many young men in the land, but she steadfastly refused all proposals of marriage. The rich elderly men in the kingdom sought her hand as well, but she rudely called them old and ugly. She was proud and vain, insisting that she would only marry a rich prince from a distant land. "No man from our kingdom is good enough for me," Olabisi declared to her concerned parents one day. "I will marry only the best-looking prince in the entire world. He must be perfect in every way." Despite the king and queen's repeated pleas for her to reconsider, Olabisi remained stubbornly resolute. "I will not settle for less than a prince. My heart will not waver," she insisted passionately. One day, the commotion erupted throughout the village, causing curiosity among the residents. What could be happening? People wondered aloud. Soon enough, the news reached the palace. There was a strikingly handsome man seen in the market, better looking than any of the locals. Olabisi couldn't contain her excitement and rushed to the market. When she saw him, her heart skipped a beat. "Oh my goodness, you are the most handsome man I have ever seen," Olabisi exclaimed, gazing at him in awe. Instantly smitten, she invited him to her family's home. The prince, equally captivated, happily accompanied her. Upon their arrival, he introduced himself to King Adebayo and Queen Funke. "Your Majesties, may I have your blessing to marry your lovely daughter?" he asked confidently. At first, the king and queen hesitated. "We are wary of this stranger," King Adebayo said, a frown creasing his brow. "You are not of our land." But Olabisi interjected. "Father, he is wonderful. Look at him. Please allow us to be married." Reluctantly, the king and queen agreed. After spending 2 days together, the prince expressed his desire to take Olabisi back to his distant kingdom. "Let's begin our journey together," he said charmingly. Olabisi readily agreed, though her parents tried to convince her to stay. "Think about this, my daughter," Queen Funke pleaded, her voice laced with worry. "You barely know him." "Mother, I love him. I cannot stay here any longer," Olabisi declared, determination flashing in her eyes. And so, with heavy hearts, the king and queen bade their daughter farewell. As Olabisi and her handsome husband traveled for several days, they finally crossed the boundary between the human realm and the spirit land. Suddenly, strange apparitions materialized around them. "What is happening?" Olabisi gasped, confusion flooding her mind as one spirit approached and demanded the prince's legs. Another claimed his head, and yet another took his body. "Stop! What's happening to you?" she screamed in horror, watching as the handsome prince was reduced to nothing but a skull. The prince laughed mockingly. "You are now seeing me in my true form, Olabisi," he revealed. "I borrowed my body parts from the other spirits so I could appear human when I sought your hand in marriage." "I want to go home," Olabisi cried, terrified. "You tricked me. Home? You cannot leave. You belong to me now." The skull insisted, commanding her to follow him to his dwelling. When they arrived, they found the skull's mother, an ancient woman barely able to move. Olabisi, feeling pity for her, set to work caring for her. "I will help you," she said kindly, bringing her food and water. The old woman soon grew fond of Olabisi. One day, the old woman, touched by Olabisi's kindness, resolved to help her. "My dear, I can assist you," she said with a smile, "but you must promise to obey your parents in the future." "Anything," Olabisi replied fervently. "I promise." "Good," the old woman responded. "Now, let me call upon the breeze." With a wave of her hand, she summoned a clever spider to style Olabisi's hair and adorned her with beautiful anklets. Then, with her supernatural powers, she commanded the breeze to carry Olabisi home. Moments later, the gentle breeze deposited Olabisi right outside her father's kingdom. "Mama, Papa," she cried, rushing into the palace. When King Adebayo and Queen Funke saw their daughter, tears of joy filled their eyes. "Olabisi, we thought we had lost you forever," the queen exclaimed, embracing her. "There will be celebrations throughout the kingdom," the king declared. And for 8 days and nights, there was feasting and dancing in Ijebuland. Once the festivities ended, King Adebayo passed a law. Let it be known that no parent should permit their daughters to marry strangers from distant lands again. Soon after, a prince from a neighboring village came to seek Olabisi's hand in marriage. "Princess Olabisi, will you marry me?" he asked bashfully. Olabisi smiled brightly. "Yes, I would love to," she replied sincerely. And they lived happily together for many years, raising a family and cherishing the lessons learned from her past. From that day forward, Olabisi appreciated the importance of family and the value of wisdom, forever grateful for the second chance given to her by the old woman of the spirit land.